Welcome, blessed soul family. I am the magical medium. Welcome to this spiritual guidance channel and welcome to the new subscribers. I've been getting hints from spirit that a lot of shit's going to go down this year, so we can expect those numbers to continue to grow. And I'm excited because that means that all of the powerful, powerful, powerful light workers that are on the planet in human form right now are meant to be here. Because I am the healer for the healers. I'm a teacher. I'm a shaman. I'm a guru. I'm a student. We never, ever, ever stop learning or growing or changing or evolving. These beautiful Hedgewitches came to me today. This is one of those bonus readings. I haven't done one in a while. I've been working on a lot of my own stuff, but it's been great and I love it and I love you guys. Thank you for the support. I love you being here. If you've never been here before, all of my information is in the description box below. So if you know how to do these readings and you want to go down to the timestamp and you don't want to hear what Spirit has to say to us for the collective, that is fine. There's no judgment. You do what you got to do. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the Taurian energy because in real time today, it's April 21st, 2022. Tomorrow is a miraculous day. I hope you do something really special with it. Not only is it Earth Day, but it is 4/22/2022. I mean, what? 4, and then it's the 22nd. 2 and 2 is 4. Then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, right? Like, oh, talk about progression and excitement and beauty and love. And I'm so, so, so excited. Also, for the new people here, sometimes Spirit breaks the readings up. I don't know why, but they do it. And so I have plenty of room on my camera and on my card, whatever. And but then I realized that it was for a reason. And those who seek the medicine will receive it. And those who do not seek the medicine, that medicine is not for them. So, and that doesn't mean that you can't come back at some point and seek it out. You know, maybe it'll be a meditation. It'll be like, oh, I remember that reading, you know, blah, blah, blah. So today we are saying grateful thanks to Aries season, the fire season that kicked us into gear, whether you're in the northern or the southern hemisphere, whether you got kicked into gear for spring or fall. Either way, now we are here in the earth energy to kind of bring us back down to earth a little bit, sink into that season, right? We're getting really sunk into the middle of that season. The Taurian energy is beautiful. It's also, it's the second house and it's ruled by Venus, which made me think about the beautiful. These are some of the key words for the Taurian energy. Strong, sturdy, reliable, loyal, protective, calm, persistent. But we also have material, right? And the beautiful, you know, having to be this certain way, right? This kind of fixed energy. Earth is here to ground us. That's what it's for. So during this Taurian energy, I started to feel like we needed to hear some messages from Spirit, you know, since we're going into a new astrological season and into the second house. We are now officially into the new astrological year. And I also love that it's nestled in between for me personally, because a lot of you know I'm a cannabis queen. So in my castle anyway, there's lots of cannabis queens in the world. But, you know, yesterday was 4/20. But also, it was the 22nd anniversary of my very witchy grandmother's death. She is the one that saved my soul throughout my childhood. When my grandma died, there were no words to describe it. Oh, I can't. I'm going to start crying. But I talk to her all the time, and she's here, and she's been with me for those 22 years. And right before she passed, the last word she said to anybody was me. And she said, you have a special gift. You know, I didn't come out of a box like this. I was very, quote unquote, normal, very third dimensional energy. Was raised in the Midwest. And, you know, there's a lot about my story, but I'm writing a book about it right now. But there's also so much beauty in the not knowing, Because now that I know, I have moments through reflection and through meditation of my childhood or a time at an old job or with an old friend, a lover, it doesn't matter. And I'll see things from my eyes now. And I'm like, wow, look at how spirit was like looking, like showing me the signs. They were right there. They were right in front of my face. But I wasn't grounded. I'm a triple fire and my moon's in Scorpio. So I was dancing around, flowing, having a good time, which is great. But I wasn't grounded. And I cannot tell you how many years, and I'm saying years, this is the honest to God truth. Throughout my lifetime, different places. I've moved 28 times, lived in 5 different states. I'm 50 years old. But through all of these experiences, so many people would say to me, calm down, slow down, get grounded. And I remember hearing get grounded in the 90s when I moved to LA, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm from the south side of Chicago. I'm like, get grounded? What? What? Like, I literally, there were so many, my brain was going in so many different directions of what that could mean. But it took me a while to figure out what it meant, because I was channeling the Taurian energy of the bull, the stubborn, fixed, no, I want to be myself. I don't want to change. I don't want to evolve. I don't want to grow. I'm awesome just the way I am. In a lot of respects, I was. But I needed to chill the fuck out. I needed to slow down. That's why cannabis became like my medicine. Because I need all of that energy for the work that I do here on this planet. However, I needed to find a way to flow and get close and connected to the ground. It also doesn't surprise me that when I first moved to the Pacific Northwest almost 11 years ago, next month it'll be 11 years, and my first roommate was a Taurus, which is what I needed, which is also why after like several months, she was like, you gotta move out, man. She was just like, you crazy, I love you, but like, you can, you know what that old saying, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, you know? And I still love them to this day. She is my sister at heart, always. But they taught me so much. I was also madly, deeply in love with a Taurus, engaged to a Taurus. But the thing I loved about learning about these two people deeply, living with both of these Taurus, because I've only lived with, a handful of people in my life. I can count on 2 hands, and outside of my family, I'm saying, and they were very different, actually. That's when I started to understand why it was important to know what my sun, my moon, my rising, to look at my chart. I urge you to study your birth chart. It's very important. These are messages from Spirit for the collective. That's why they have me do these kind of collective messages before we go into your personal messages in the piles. Because it's important. And I'm learning that myself. And it's interesting because I find myself fighting. I don't want to know until something happens, and then I'll go and look at my chart. I'm like, yep, that makes sense. And that's okay. We'll get there when we get there. Also, the theme for our reading is, I'm going to bring the focus in a little bit down here. Let your greatness show from your inner light. And sometimes Spirit and I will play for like hours putting this beautiful altar together for these readings. And I used to get frustrated by it, but now I'm like, I love it because it's such a great creative outlet. And then also I notice how like my higher self is working with my spirit guides, with your spirit guides, to make this just perfect. This is for you. I'm just a vessel. I'm more than that, but you know what I'm saying. In this capacity, I'm a vessel. And they were very particular about putting that candle there. But do you see how the candle is like literally like leading to it? And that they also brought in this sweet little crystal ball. So if you're a scryer, or if you've been thinking, that maybe you're a scryer, this might be a fun thing for you to look at, during the reading. Okay? So that's all I have from them, but I'll give you a little bit of a close-up. Let's get a close-up, and we'll call out our piles here. Okay, so we've already called in the Hedgewitches. They do have names and certain things below, but they were very particular about me covering them, and for you to choose from the imagery. And of course, there's words on them on top, but underneath they have words that represent them. They also had me pull all the cards for the piles already. So that's why they look a little, on there, because each of them have more, you know what I mean? Like each pile has cards behind them. And I did that because maybe you'll respond to the energy of the pile in its whole and not just the imagery, you know. Also, I will look for it, but a lot of you know I talk about Dee. She was one of the first pickup people I found. And I just think Dee has a really profound gift, and she is very giving, very, very, very giving. She's a mother and a grandmother and just a beautiful, loving energy and entity. And her channel is called Consciousness Evolution Journey. And I'll put a link below. But she does these fun little like tests for your psychic ability. And I'll tell you, I was drawn to it a lot in the last few days. It kept popping up in my feed. And then I was like, oh no, I'm tired. Oh no, blah, blah, blah. And it's because the last time I did it, I only got like 2 out of the 6 right. And I'm like, what kind of fucking psychic medium am I? What kind of telepath am I if I like, can't know? I was like, and my ego was, so ruptured. And then I realized, oh my goodness, what? And I knew what was happening. They're like, when it is time, it doesn't matter if you're tired. It's about being connected. So I did it, and it was before I was falling asleep, and I was really tired. And I'll tell you what, I got 4 out of the 6 right. But interestingly enough, the other 2 that I got wrong, I saw colors that weren't even on those papers. So I wonder if she was grappling with the 2. You know what I mean? Because when I looked out in the comments, there were other people that were like, that's so weird. I saw black instead of purple. I'm like, so did I. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. And like somebody else is like, I saw, yellow instead of pink. I'm like, so did I. It was like this kind of, so, if you see other colors, sorry, I don't want to say too much, but if you see but then again, you won't know, right? But clear your mind. That's the whole point, is to clear your mind. So that means that like somewhere in there, somehow that was there. You know what I mean? But it's just fun to kind of like test yourself. But if you don't do well, she specifies, that's okay. That just means that like maybe you're not as connected as you normally are, and it's something to look at. Okay, so if you're new here, I like to put fun stuff in the description box below. You'll see it under reading recommendations. Also, our angel number today is 1114. Our spirit animal is the ant. And our song is Home by Phillips. Great song, awesome song. Yeah, so that is all of that. Okay, I am going to move forward because I'm getting this kind of like ooh, energy. 1, I'm cold, but 2, I'm feeling like your people want to speak to you. So let's get to it. All of the information and the timestamps are in the description box below, and I will see you over at your pile. Oh my gosh, Spirit, thank you so much. I almost forgot. Excuse me. I know it's pretty evident, but I'm going to do it anyway. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. I'll see you over at your pile. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, pile number 1. Look at you. I just get the chills. You guys are so powerful. Oh my gosh. Oh, seriously, it is my divine pleasure to be able to read for you today because this is a pile. This is a pile. So would you like to see what your word is? Obviously, you can see oak tree and strength. Oh, and oh my gosh, I didn't realize. Look, that's your word. It's on the bottom. Ha 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 ha. So interesting. You may have chose that because of that. If you did, please comment below. I love that kind of stuff. But I didn't see that. I didn't. I really didn't. So it says oak tree strength, and look at that crescent moon on her head, and also on her forehead. Woo. Also, we're looking at June 10th through July 7th. I was wondering if we were going to read from the book, and I kind of got like a yes no, which means that it was going to be for some people or some but not others. But right away I was feeling like, yeah, I definitely want to read from the book. So each card, each Hedgewitch represents some form of herb, something from the earth, right? Because the Hedgewitches are like the earth witches. And it says resilience, courage, and perseverance. Okay, so it says oak. The mighty oak was one of the most revered trees in Celtic Britain. and one strongly associated with the Druids. In medieval times, the oak's bark and buds were used extensively for their astringent and antiseptic properties. Using oak leaves and acorns in fertility and luck magic was a common practice. The lesson of the oak is that powerful things come from small beings. Symbolism of the card is the priestess of strength meditates beneath a botanical wheel containing oak leaves, flowers, and acorns. She is clothed in light green, the color associated with the summer solstice, Litha, in the northern hemisphere. Ooh, celebrated between June 10th and July 7th. Beside her is a labyrinth, symbolic of endurance and strength as we journey through life's mysteries. The divination on this card is when the strength card appears, you may be close to giving up on a long cherished goal. No, don't give up. Things might have become too hard or too boring and no tangible results are being seen. This card's lesson is to never give up. Draw on the strength and resilience of the oak's energy to give you the push you need to continue. Yes. Okay. And also the ant came in at our which reading did they come in? Oh, it was the waning gibbous reading. And then now they're our spirit animal for today. And ants are all about patience. So that is your homework, to research ant, spirit animal, spirit medicine, whatever resonates with you. Also, if you haven't seen the last reading, I highly suggest you go and watch it. Also, if I remember, I'll put a link below. But it was just the last one I did. It was the waning gibbous from the dragons. But I don't want to say it, but there's definitely one pile that's speaking to me right now. And I'd be curious. Let me know which one that you chose. Yeah. And also talk about ants. I'm feeling a little antsy in my pantsy. I feel like you guys, like you're impatient, and Spirit's saying, but you know what though? You have to remember that something really special and something profound takes time. Look at the little flickers behind you. Do you see that? Spirit had me throw glitter on there. And if you look ever so slightly, every so often, you'll see a little flicker. There's big flickers. I can move the camera around and make it really big flicker. But do you see the little flickers? You know, they say that when you see a flicker like that, that a plant, obviously when we see the stars, they say they're already, dead or whatever. But I feel personally that when you see the flickers sometimes, it's not necessarily that the light is going out. It's that the light is trying to spark into being. And Spirit says, you still have a long way to go, and not in the way that you think. And sometimes we think of human time as a long way to go. Like, what do you mean? Like 10 years? If how people will just respond like, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? I did a reading recently for somebody and they were looking for a timeline. And I was like, we have to remember that we have free will and time is linear, and the time, everything, all the time structs are breaking down all over the universe right now. There are so many changes afoot on the planet that it's overwhelming. So just breathe, see how their beautiful face, their eyes are shut. See how calm they are. Also, June 10th to July 7th, we're talking Gemini and Cancer energy. This could be a time frame as well. We just spoke about the summer solstice. If you're watching this in real time, that's just around the corner. Winter solstice for our Southern Hemisphere people. We do have subscribers from the Southern Hemisphere, so I never want to leave you out in case this is your pile. But, the labyrinth, if you guys were here, if you've been with me a long time, you know that this channel used to be called Lula's Labyrinth. I'm Lula Kelly, right? So it was Lula's Labyrinth because my brain was so unique and different. And I had so many years of people telling me I was fucked up, I was crazy, I should be on medication, I should be hospitalized. I had a really interesting conversation with my husband about this the other day. And he's like, they really wanted to put you away. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, dude, I threatened to kill myself every so many years. I'm like, at least 7 times throughout my life I talked about it, threatened, tried. Yeah, they thought I was unstable. And it's just because I didn't understand. Now, my grandmother, I spoke about her and when we were downloading messages from Spirit at the beginning of this, but my very, very powerful witchy grandmother, through that ancestral line, she was trying to tell me before she died 22 years ago that, you are not crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. She was on medication because she used to say the radio was talking to her. People, And it would make me mad the way that my family would either roll their eyes about it, like, oh, grandma, or it was like this, like, oh my gosh, grandma's crazy, we got to get her on lithium or some other drug or whatever the fuck, you know. And my poor grandmother was like drugged up for like the last half of her life. And then at death's door, when she was literally on her deathbed, I sat next to her bedside for hours and hours and hours, and my grandfather was like, I don't think she's going to wake up. This is it. And I had to fly back to Los Angeles, and I lived in Chicago, and I was like, no, I'm not fucking going, man. I'm like, I know. I'm like, I don't care. I'll miss my flight. And he's like, okay. And finally, when he was like, okay, you at least have to leave for today. And when I was leaving, she literally called out to me. And her last words were, you're going to do something really special with your life. You're going to change a lot of people's lives. Don't give up, you know? I mean, I'm paraphrasing. She said a lot of really profound things. But it's the same for you. You have gifts, especially if you fall into this, you know, I always feel like the Gemini and the Cancer, especially, oh my gosh, Grandma, I didn't even realize my grandmother's birthday was July 7th. How did I not even notice that until now? Sorry, because I'm not trying to make this about me, but my grandmother was a powerful witch too, right? Like, she's crossed over. So if you're on medications, you know, I never try to tell anybody what to do, but I will tell you that I have had my clients that have gotten off of medication and stayed off of medication. I also have clients that got off medication and went back on medication during the pandemic. And there was no judgment. I was sad because I was like, I don't believe you need this. There's something else that needs to change in your life. But, you know, we can't tell anybody what to do or how to do it. It's everyone's path. Also, I want to note that even though that labyrinth, you know, looks like a tree and has roots, by the way, I love this rock. It kind of reminds me of a heart. There's a lot of little heart rocks around here. Look at this one. But also, this kept trying to fall in, the peacock feather. So if the peacock feather, hold on, I'm going to lay it here because I don't want anything to happen. I don't want anything to burn, and I can do that sometimes. I just want you to be able to see it, but it doesn't, there we go. Like, the fact that the peacock feather wanted to come in, the Hedgewitch is like, yeah, I can go back. You know what I mean? This is about you remembering your strength, your inner strength, your beauty, your uniqueness. And peacocks, man, they squawk loud when they need to be heard. So Spirit is saying, work with the oak luck spell. It says this spell will conjure up lucky breaks and attract divine protection while you face some of your challenges. And it says, gather some oak leaves from beneath their tree, clean them, and place the leaves in a bowl of water with a couple of drops of lavender essential oil. I'm going to give you a screenshot, don't worry. Oh, when I looked down, it was 2255. So definitely look up that angel number that means something. 2255. And I'm going to go down a little bit. Yeah. So you can really see those colors. See how you're sticking out. Also, I love this imagery because there's so many things that it looks like to me. It kind of looks like a bird. It kind of looks like an eye. It reminds me of Star Trek. I don't know how to explain it. So it says, wash your hands in this magical oak bath and imagine that you're drawing divine strength, protection, and huge amounts of luck from the oak leaves. See yourself succeeding and imagine that your efforts will be richly rewarded very soon. So let's get in here. I want to get in here safely. So, okay. So do you want to get yourself a screenshot? Aw, I just noticed that Alder's on the next page. That's my husband's name. He used to be Edward, but he changed his name to Alder. Just like I was Kelly, and I changed my name to Tallulah, but I love Lula. I love both names. People call me both. So, you know, maybe it's time for you to change. I also felt like Spirit just wanted me to, like, put these out. So I'm going to show them to you, and then I'm going to put them on either side of your card. So we've got love and solitude. Interesting that the fire is over love. And then we have solitude. Also, do you notice how in both cards there are swords, and swords are air signs, and Gemini is an air sign. So you may be a Gemini, you may be dealing with a Gemini. I'm also feeling like, because the love card is just yes, it's got a representation of a couple, but it doesn't always necessarily have to be about a couple. I feel like, I'm going to take this down now just for a minute. I feel like they want you to see the words. So let's Let's unveil them so you can see them. Okay, love. And I apologize. I live on a dead-end road, but it is the busiest dead-end road I've ever. I mean, I've never lived on a dead-end road, but this isn't what I imagined it would be when I lived on it. I was like, and honestly, when I moved here, it was so peaceful, but over time, other people moved in, and there is literally like a compound up there. This guy like turned his whole entire property. There's, I don't know, 10 people up there, maybe more. And almost all of them drive. So yeah. And there's another family on the other side that drive. 2 people drive. Okay. Sorry about but now, okay. It was just a little deflection for you. Okay. So we've got love, strength, and solitude. And they were very specific about me setting it up this way. Also, did you notice that there's a dragonfly in the love card and an eagle? It looks like a golden eagle in the solitude card. I'm just going to let you look at that for a second. And I'm going to talk to Spirit and see if they want me to read from the book from any of these, because they might just want me to channel. Okay, we're going to read from both books. Also, I just wanted to point out, notice how there's like another dragonfly like up here, like above the trees. It's like, I feel like they're holding hands and it's like good. But then isn't it interesting how she's like, I need the strength, to be alone. And it's like now instead of having like the form of, and I'm saying she because it's a divine feminine energy, right? And this is a representation of the divine masculine. So this could even be about yourself, like a self-love kind of thing. But either way, I think it's interesting that like we end in solitude, right? And over here, oh, and listen to that. Like do you hear that? It's like, something's like, it's like I'm trying to burp or something's trying to like come out of me. And I feel like that's with you guys, like let it out. I'm hearing stretching, yoga, taking good care of your body, eating well, drinking lots of water. Also, I'm hearing for some of you, you need to get into the practice of not eating at least an hour before bed, but 2 to 3 hours is better. 3 hours is the best, I find, in my own personal body, but it's different for everybody. But I'm hearing for some of you, you have indigestion, and for some of you, it's because of that. It's because you're eating too close to bedtime. For others of you, you have indigestion because you know what you have to do, and it literally makes you sick. And so when spirit kind of takes over my body like that much, where I'm like, well, like I almost felt like I was going to throw up. I was like, should I pause the video? I'm a channel. So, yeah, I feel like some of you are just like, you need to like vomit out like the darkness that is like stopping you from loving yourself. So let's go to the love card. By the way, when I went to go for the love card, the book opened up to Magick. So that's interesting. So love, relationships, connections, possibilities. Also, when I look down, it was 2755, if that angel number resonates with you. Relationships, connections, possibilities, the rose. The scent of roses must be one of the most loved and revered fragrances. It soothes the soul and creates feelings of happiness and comfort. On a metaphysical level, the rose perfume symbolizes universal love. Roses are ubiquitous, I think that's what it's called, in love spells, for it is the queen of flowers. The smell of rose essential oil can relieve depression and create feelings of love and confidence. Rose is associated with the heart chakra, and the flower has an overabundance of medicinal properties that soothe and heal. The symbolism of the card is, the love card depicts a couple being handfasted underneath a red rose tree. The image is one of the sweet commitment and love. 2 dragonflies dart around the rose, symbolizing the change from youthful desire to a deeper, more emotional connection. See, I'm hearing this isn't just relationships. This might be for you guys, but I'm also hearing really deep love of self and getting the balance of the masculine and the feminine within yourself. And how you do that is loving all parts of yourself. And the darkness. You must love your darkness because it is part of you. Allow it to come out. Maybe that's the vomiting that you're feeling like. You need to like get it out, speak your truth, whatever it means. Maybe you need to paint, draw, sing, act, whatever it is. But I'm feeling like a creative, like you need a creative process or like a creative outlet, if that makes sense. The divination is, the appearance of the love card suggests an important new relationship is about to change your life for the better. It could be a romantic relationship, a business relationship, or the blossoming of a friendship. Keep your heart open to new possibilities. Also, I heard to work with the rose quartz, and we have this really cute. I'm going to bring it out. Hold on. We have this beautiful rose quartz bowl that was actually donated by one of our tribe members. Thank you, Anna. I love it. It's like rose quartz that's been embedded in, I forget what you call it, but it's amazing and I love it. And I can really feel the energy when it's here. So I'm going to bring it in for you guys too. Also, look at the little heart came out. And this number 3 kept coming up. It like stuck to me and it's hard to explain, but anyway, and I was like, if it's meant to be, I'm just going to drop it in here and whatever, you know. And so just before I did that, they had me set it up on the heart. So that means something to you guys. The number 3 means something to you guys. So I'll leave that to your, you know, it's different for everybody. Okay. Let's see. The rose love spell. Rose is the perfume that can unlock our heart's desires. For those singletons in the market for a significant other, this spell is very effective. It says, if you don't have any rose bushes in your garden, this is a great time to treat yourself to a bunch of gorgeous roses from your nearest florist, or buy a rose plant or a rose, you know what I mean, that you can have. Because I mean, it's nice to, you know, have roses, but also they die. And you don't want to keep dead flowers around in your house. It's actually not good luck unless you have them like in a jar and you're using them to like with spells or something. But just be mindful of what you keep around. If not, at least keep rosemary around it for protection. So I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not going to move any forward with this love spell because I personally do not believe in love spells. If you want to go out and find yourself a love spell, if you want to look up this book and look for the love card and look up the love spell, that is between you and spirit. I don't judge it. It is totally you know, I personally had a horrific experience with, 2 fellow witches, and we were dabbling in things we didn't really understand, and we nearly killed people, and that's not a joke. It really happened. So I would just say, if you want to play around with love spells, I would be extremely careful. I don't recommend it, unless you know exactly what you're doing. And you know, because people always say, you know, it's about setting intentions. That's absolutely correct. Like if you're putting love out into the world, but when we did that spell, we were 3 very powerful witches too. And she was so in love with him and he was a really good guy. And we knew he liked her. Part of it was us being irresponsible because we wanted to see if it would work. I'm not gonna lie. But the other part of it was that I felt like he really liked her and he just was, you know, because their cultures were different, their backgrounds were different. Long story short, it not only worked, and they had a relationship until he became obsessive. And he was never like that before. All of his friends said that. And like my friends and I, my witch friends and I, when we knew what happened. We didn't, you know, we talked about it, but it was like, no, we knew. So just remember that you don't ever want to do any spell. I mean, the whole thing about witchcraft is first do no harm. And by trying to take our free will was given to us by our creator, who or whatever that is, gave us free will to make any decisions. There's consequences, but we have free will. So if you're doing a spell to take someone's free will against them, you have to remember that that's karmic. Okay? So it's one thing to set your intentions that you love this person and that, you know, buy, you know, roses for yourself. But the truth is, if you're not meant to be with somebody, you're not meant to be with somebody. And if you were with them and you're like, I have a connection, but you probably do. But it was probably a past life connection. And that doesn't mean you're still meant to be with them. So I'm being a little stern right now from the Hedgewitches because I've just seen too much shit, you guys. I've seen way too much shit. I've seen playing around with Ouija boards. I've seen things. I've been thrown around rooms by demons. My friends, my other witch friends have seen things happen to me that they were like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, yeah, I know. Right? So even like looking back now, like my friends growing up, my friends through my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, we were all witches, but we weren't fully woke. So just be really mindful when you're working with magic because our words are magic. Everything we think and do is, you know, abracadabra literally are the words like, and so it is. It's like you're bringing it into being. So right now, it's like we're speaking with energies right now that are protecting us, right? Archangel Michael. He's my brother. He walks with me always. And, you know, we are divinely protected right now. but just be really mindful. That doesn't mean get caught up in your head, you know, and lay in there and you're like, what did I say to myself, or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about that. It's just about being mindful. And for some of you, this is old hat to you. You've been doing this forever, and that's fine. You know, I'm not going to tell any witch or any magician or any spirit light worker how to do their thing. I'm just telling you my experiences, and I'm just, you know, telling you my own cautionary tales. Okay? Because even now, as a very seasoned witch, I still would not do a love spell. But that's me. Okay? Also, you are here on your own trajectory, right? Your own life path. So, you know, maybe you're meant to play with spells or do spells, right? Maybe that's your karma, you know, maybe, who knows? I would never claim to say like that. So I'll leave it at that. Now, our next card is Solitude. And also, this isn't like a tongue lashing for somebody to feel bad about themselves if you've been fucking around with magic. It's not about that. They're just like, more like, just be mindful, be careful, right? With great strength comes great responsibility. So Solitude says, study, quest, devotion. Leishan is a curious little being, not quite... Oh, a Leishan. Oh, I thought that was an eagle. Is a curious little being, not quite an algae. Algae. What is that? And not quite a fungus. Oh, Leishan is a mushroom. Is that this? Because I'm like, I thought that was an eagle. Let's bring this closer. I feel like we have the love here, but I'm gonna... You guys know that it means solitude. There we go. Let's look at this a little bit closer, shall we? Okay. So we'll start that for a minute. It's Lichen. Do you see this? Xanthopomelia. Okay. Is a curious little being, not quite an algae and not quite a fungus. It is an expert in living in tough conditions, growing on rocks where no other Oh, I almost said planet. Oh, Freudian slip for some of you guys. Interesting. Where no other plant can thrive and can lie inactive for long stretches of time. Leishan teaches us that times of solitude are sometimes necessary. And I want you to see that bird. Isn't it interesting how the solitude... here, let's move this right here. I want you to see that word, solitude. Teaches us that times of solitude are sometimes necessary. There comes a time to honor the hermit, to gather the lost pieces of ourselves, to study, heal, and practice silence. Soon you will be ready to join the world again with renewed power and resilience. The symbolism of the card is, the priestess of solitude is surrounded by a sacred stone circle, sword in hand. The stones are covered in resilient rock shield lichens. She is backed by the eagle, wah wah, a bird that flies alone, and one who symbolizes a personal spiritual quest. The Scottish Gaelic words, that was my ego, by the way. Thank you, Spirit. I felt like they didn't make me say that, but you know what I mean? I felt like I needed to say that. Because that's not Spirit. I'm really working with the ego, and I will do it right in front of you, because that's how we work together, right? None of us is above anything. We must catch ourselves in every moment. It's okay to give ourselves a pat on the back, but not a, see, I told you, but that's what that felt like. My little inner child. Look at me, look at me. The Scottish Gaelic words, Caeleg Shilbu, I have no idea if I said that right. Surround her, which means fortunate girl, woman. The priestess embodies the energy of a young maiden about to embark on years of training to become a wise woman of strength and magic. You pulled the strength card, you guys. What? She is not afraid, for the priestess knows the time is right to journey within. The divination is, the appearance of the priestess of solitude indicates a spiritual voyage into the unknown, one that can bring great rewards and revelations. In medieval times, a quest was the start of a courageous journey to accomplish a much longed for goal. Now is the perfect time to go inward to gain spiritual insights or to embark on a period of training and study. The Magic Mandala ritual. A potent way to gain the gifts of solitude is to go on a long, solitary walk. Take a small bag with you and collect items from nature that appeal to you. Rocks, stones, twigs, and dried leaves. Connect. Ooh, I love it. Yes, in this earth energy with Taurus, connect. Take your shoes and socks off. Walk if it is safe for you to do so. Walk in the earth with your feet connected to the earth. Collect enough to make a mandala for these items, from these items. And as part of your walk, arrange the items in circular shape on the ground. This act forms a devotional offering to the nature spirits. Ask them to bless your spiritual quest, this time of seclusion, and know that it will bring you abundant rewards. So yes, I mean, I pick up things all the time. Random shit all of the time. Every single rock and stone before you, I picked up myself, except for this chevron amethyst that wanted to come in. So also amethyst is about healing. So while you're going through this transitional journey, you may want to heal. Oh, look at this one. I just pulled this the other day, just going for a walk, and I was like, look at how perfect this is. I go, it reminds me of, I don't want to burn it, but I was like, it reminds me of like ivy, you know, but I mean, look at how big it is. It was just like so perfect and beautiful, and it's okay that it's torn. It's not perfect. That's the whole point. But it's perfect, meaning like it's all together. I just loved it. So, you know, you are also blessed. Look at this. I'm really drawn to this symbol on their dress, on their sheath. And again, you know, we're talking about air signs. So I'm feeling like the sword energy, but swords are all about cutting through the bullshit too. That's one of my favorite things about the swords in the tarot. It's about communication. It's about speaking your truth. It's about saying, this is who I am. The eagle has been coming up so much for our tribe lately. So I'll put that for the spirit medicine. Also the ant, like I said, about patience. So anyway, those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way, pile number one. And all of my information, whether to contact me or donate to this channel, is in the description box below. And also look for all those fun little Easter eggs in the research, recommended research. I don't remember what it says. Anyway, until next time. And thank you so much to the new subscribers. We love you so much. And thank you to all of our current subscribers. We love you so much. And Spirit is saying, in just a blanket general, we love you so much. Keep going. And also one more thing they want me to say, and this might just be for one person. Just because you've been working on this one thing forever doesn't mean it's not going to come through. But there's something you need to change and tweak. Or I'm going to go to the background to the love card, or something that you need to let go of or get rid of or get balanced in your life. And only you know whatever hit for you when Spirit said that. Until next time, love yourself, love others. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number 2. I feel like pile number 2, you guys are my like, and with all due respect to every other energy, because it's going to come off as ego, but I'm going to cater to your inner child and say that you are my pile that is so intelligent and so smart and gets things so much quicker than most people, that I can see you as a child going, somebody telling you something and you going, duh, like, because you think everybody knows it, and Spirit's like, not really, you're just like super intelligent. So listen, I get it. When you're that kind of energy and that entity, right, that has experienced much. You guys have been through many, many lives. All I felt right away when I was like going through your cards is that you guys have lived many, many, many lives. So I'm going to go a little bit closer on your cards here. And I'm going to pull back so that you can see your words. It's important that you do. Oh, that's not helping, is it? I'm like, I'm making it worse. I'm making it worse. Okay, so we have clarity. We have wishes. And we have patience. And I'm getting that you guys don't have a lot of patience. I also feel a lot of control. You know, that's all right. You know, not all of you are going to be like that, but some of you may have some control issues. And it's only because you just see things so far out, you know, like I feel like normally you guys have good clarity. Like normally when you guys are grounded, when you're meditating, when you're getting focused, the clarity comes easy. But right now, the reason why your wishes haven't come true and why Spirit is asking you to be a little more patient and why the fire is making the cards look a little warbly is because you're out of focus. The clarity is not there because you are out of focus and out of alignment. And that happens. And it's not a judgment in any way, shape, or form. It's more of a, see all these rocks right here? It's about getting grounded. And this has been a big one for all of us. Now listen, if you're watching this in real time, we just came off the Aries energy. We are now in the Taurus energy. And so, you know, it's a different energy, right? Very different. We can't just like fly off the handle like fire and go willy-nilly, right? We have to stay connected to the earth, stay connected to ourselves, stay connected to each other. Let me see if they want me to read from the book for you guys. Do we want to read the clarity? Yeah. Also, they want me to draw attention to, if you look at the top of clarity, it says chamomile, echinacea, ginger, rosemary, St. John's wort, and thyme. I would say work with all of those energies, but if you didn't feel all of them, just work with the ones that called out to you, okay? So we're going to go to the book, Clarity. Focus, goals, and life purpose. By the way, I knew this wanted to come in for somebody, so let's burn some, we're going to burn some rosemary right now. Rosemary is a really great protector. Get some rosemary, even if you just go and buy organic rosemary from the grocery store, like in twigs like this. But so many people have rosemary bushes, you'd be surprised. And just be like, hey, can I remember when I lived in Portland, one of our tribe members, Allie. Well, actually, Mel lived there first. She's like one of my oldest, dearest witch friends. And then Allie lived there. And so long story short, they were roommates, whatever, but Allie still lives there. And I'd be like, can you break me off some rosemary? She'd be like, dude, like, take it. Like, it was such a massive bush, and I would take these, I could take a bunch, and it still wouldn't even look like I did anything. You know, but it's nice to hang them over, you know, inside your house, like over your windows, your doors. Rosemary is a really great protector for my witches here, okay? I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. So while I read, go ahead and take a, you can look at the screen, but I'm going to read a little bit as well. The rosemary is here to protect us. It says, the astringent, herbaceous notes of rosemary help to encourage mental clarity and a sharp mind. Rosemary is often used in spells to aid successful study and excellent concentration. In 1649, the famous botanist Culpeper, love it, described rosemary as quick and piercing and assured that a little goes a long way. Rosemary revives and helps our memory. It is refreshing, healing, and clean. On a metaphysical level, rosemary helps us to complete our spiritual responsibilities here on earth. Look at that. You're talking about clarity. The rosemary's talking to you. Love it. That's beautiful. Symbolism of the card. This says, the priestess of clarity stands confident and focused beneath a healing herb wheel. The botanicals represented are rosemary, chamomile, echinacea, ginger, St. John's wort, and thyme. These herbs have stood the test of time as some of the most versatile and useful botanicals Mother Nature has provided us. Medieval symbols for protection against self-doubt surround the priestess, and her wings symbolize that she is a spiritual... Excuse me, let me start over. Medieval symbols for protection against self-doubt surround the priestess, and her wings symbolize that she is a spiritual as well as earthly being. The Scottish Gaelic words Gleis Blath, I don't know, which translate to wise flower. Isn't that interesting? Another card telling like us, the last pile number 1 had a similar card. That's awesome. So if you're drawn to pile 1, I highly suggest you look at it. So it translates to wise flower. I love that. The divination is when the priestess of clarity appears, it is time for absolute focus. You may have a big undertaking ahead of you that needs your full attention now. Break tasks into small, achievable goals. Write down every single step you need to accomplish that goal. If easily distracted, the judicious use of a timer to allow yourself productive time and rest time throughout the day may help. Attempt 20 minutes of uninterrupted work or study, then alternate with 20 minutes of unstructured me time. Yeah, that's good. Balance. Love it. Play with the times and see what works. You will be amazed at how much you can achieve with just these small amounts of focused time. Consider that each step towards your goal is a step toward fulfilling your life purpose here on earth. A rosemary posy. Harness the freshness of rosemary to make this little nosegay. This herbal posy aids clear thought and is the perfect study buddy to have at your desk while you work. Let's see, I'll give you a screenshot. Let's back up a little bit. So if you guys, hold on. So if you want to take a screenshot of the rosy posy. So it says, gather 7 generous sprigs of rosemary and wash them well. Tie them together into a small bouquet with a beautiful emerald green ribbon. Crush the leaves periodically to set free the herbaceous tang, stimulating your mind to release dull and puffy thoughts and allowing you to achieve your best. Oh, love it. I really love burning it. And I like cooking with it too. It's just really, pungent. Okay, so let's see if they want us to read from the wishes card, because I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory. Do we want to read the wishes card? No, it is. It's self-explanatory. It's like, if this is what you want, like whatever it is that you're dreaming about, because it's going to be different for all of you guys, whatever it is that you're dreaming about, your wishes will come true, but you have to get clarity around them. And if you've worked with me before, I've told you, you have to be very specific with your details, with your manifestations. Now listen, it's already manifested. This is where sometimes I have a hard time with it, because I walk between all worlds. So time is such a human thing that it frustrates me a lot, but I deal with it. It's part of this planet at this time. But if you're really like struggling with that, remember that whatever it is that you think you want, it's like that song Unanswered Prayers by Garth Brooks, which, by the way, I'm going to put a link below to Consciousness Evolution Journey, her channel. She has this really fun little video she just put out to test your psychic ability. But it's interesting because one of the things on there is Garth Brooks' Unanswered Prayers, right? Because sometimes you can pray for something, wish for something, and try to manifest it. But if it's not coming, you have to remember that it's most likely because, number one, it's not time. Or number 2, it's not meant for you. And it could be something from this life that maybe you wished for it when you were 12 and now you're 40 and you're like, what? I still want that. It's like, okay, well, but how can you need to get the clarity around like what it is that you're missing, right? And have patience to allow it to come through. The willow is all about patience. We also have the dragon spirit right there. But see how the dragon has a tail? They want me to, that it's almost like a seahorse dragon. So I'm feeling water energy. Also, we have April 15th through May 12th. So if this is like maybe something you've been praying for, wanting, looking for, I'm hearing either it's going to come to fruition between this cycle, right? Because right now in real time, it's April 21st. And we're kind of, look at that. I mean, it just started this window for you. So either this is where it's going to grow and you're going to get your clarity, like your clarity is going to come, and then it's going to like, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. I mean, I cannot tell you how many things I've been working on lately where all of a sudden I'll be like, oh my gosh, of course. Like, well, how can I forget that part? Or, you know what I mean? So that is a big factor in it. Okay. You just may not have all the pieces yet. So it hasn't fallen into place. Or it could be for some of you that it's starting to fall into place. And then by this cycle, by May 12th, you won't have to wait anymore. It's going to be there. It's going to be there waiting for you. They're not even going to have me read the card because she's just giving us that energy. But also they do want me to see how there's an arrow coming off that beautiful kind of mandala over her head. And doing the mandalas are really powerful. So research mandala if you've never done one. Go and collect things from the earth to make one for yourself. It's so powerful. And once you research a mandala, you'll understand it. I was very blessed to learn that when I was in art theory in college. And it was like, oh my gosh, I'd seen things like the mandala before, but I didn't understand what it was. But they also want me to draw the attention before we're going to pull the last 2 cards, which one of these was your face card that you chose. I'm sure you're like, wait, is this my right pile? Yes, I probably should have said that at the beginning, but it doesn't matter. That this clarity that's going to come to you guys, it's going to be from you doing all these little research things, right? The more you look it up, a lot of you know that I've been doing these for a long time. And I love giving people as many clues as possible. But what I realized is over that time, I was taking away from people what they could be finding on their journey, you know? And it was when I watched a reading for myself that I had that aha moment, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's true. And that's control too. Like, we want to help everybody, but sometimes if we overhelp, we're taking away somebody's experience that they're going through. But what they want me to say is, notice how two of these cards have wings, but if you look at three, it almost looks like the willow branches are like wings, like she's like a beautiful little earth witch. And I feel like you guys, like, this is like different facets of you, like you've got your fun, good time Charlie that wants to go and have cocktails and travel and whatever. And maybe those are your wishes, but then I see you guys like, working with the dragon medicine, like your old medicine. This is not your first time. The willow tree. I mean, willows are very emotional, like if you look at them, the way they sway in the wind, there's something really hypnotic about a willow tree. They have such grace and beauty, and I feel that from you guys too. And then this one over here, I mean, she's very tribal. Like if you look at her face, I'm going to pull in a little bit closer of clarity. See how her face, maybe because the candle's there. See how their face looks kind of almost like tribal markings? It's like, this is not your first time. And this particular Hedgewitch reminds me of like an archangel. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys, I have the feeling anyway that if not all of you, a large portion of you are from the angel realm. So then the next two cards, your last two cards, I should say, are, let's back up a little bit. Enchantment and Purity. Enchantment is the card that you drew. The Ash Tree, Enchantment, February 18th to March 17th. And then we also have Reed and Purity. Look at how, I love how they did this though. Look at how they counterbalance each other. Not only that, but they're having me cover up Clarity and Wishes with Purity and Enchantment. So Clarity brings purity to your design. That's what literally like what I just heard from Spirit. So the Clarity brings purity to your design. And your Wishes bring enchantment. And the Patience is still there because it's going to take a minute. But look at how all three, now you've seen the different cards. Look at how all three Hedgewitches look so similar. But they're not, are they? They have different stories. I mean, and here we are, another like sea dragon. So there's something with the water, and look at those dates. October 28th to November 24th is in fall. But it's also Scorpio. Actually, that's all Scorpio, isn't it? Oh, no, Scorpio and Sag. I'm Scorpio and Sag, you think I know? So if those numbers mean anything to you, and then February 18th to March 17th is winter. So we're looking at fall and winter. And then we have, let's see, what does this mean? So then we have spring. So fall, oh shit, look at that. Fall, winter, spring. I want to check in and see because I have a few messages coming through. Okay, so this is a double-edged sword, and I know that it's going to be hard, and you'll know which category you fall into. But for some of you, if you have been working your ass off since last fall and through the winter, all those seeds that you planted in the fall, and like think of it in the Southern Hemisphere, right? Because in the Southern Hemisphere, our fall is their spring. So it's like you were planting seeds then, and there are some things that you have to plant in the fall for them to bloom in the spring. So you guys are about to hit the jackpot. That's why they're saying hold on just a little bit longer. For some others of you, this isn't a punishment. It just means that you're really waking up to a different side of your gifts or a different side of your life. And now, like, for maybe you've already accomplished the goals and the wishes that you wanted to, but now you have a new set of goals and wishes. And I'm hearing as long as you go at them with purity of heart, because I'm hearing for some of you, it has to be of purity of heart. Not because you're trying to make money. Not because you're, you know what I mean? It has to be purity of heart. And they're actually asking me to read that card, so I'm going to grab it. Purity, empathy, shielding, and kind-hearted. The reed. The Celtic reed has a thick, compact root system that thrives beautifully in deep, watery depths. Its smell is sweet when cut and was often used in medieval times to perfume houses by covering the floors with the willowy stalks. The reed, oh yes, I didn't even read, oh my gosh. The reed is associated with the finer arts of writing and music, as the reed wood was once used to make pens and musical instruments. Okay, writers, musicians, you hearing this? This message may not resonate with all of you, but for those of you, you know who you are. Beautiful, I'm getting the chills. Those on a spiritual quest might ask the Creator for them to be as hollow as the reed to allow the divine to flow through them. The symbolism of the card is the priestess of purity is meditating beneath a botanical wheel containing reed, leaves, stems, and flowers. She is clothed in crimson, the color associated with late autumn in the northern hemisphere, and beside her is a Celtic hound. This priestess has strong association with the fire festival of Samhain, or Halloween to some people, and the time of the year between October 28th and November 24th. Samhain is a time of letting go, of endings and beginnings, and is often referred to as the witch's new year. The divination is, have you ever been told that you are too sensitive or that you need to harden up? The purity card appears to remind you that your ability to feel as deeply as you do is a strength and not a weakness. Your pure heart operates with gentle compassion and forgiveness as your default setting, and this should be celebrated. You may pick up on the energy in a room or a public space and find yourself easily overwhelmed. This purity is an asset. You just need to find a way to manage your empathetic heart so as to guard against burnout. Try imagining yourself surrounded by a beautiful blue light, a divine light that acts as a shield, filtering in the good, pure energy and stopping anything heavy or dark. Try to limit your time with people or situations that drain you because your emotional health is paramount right now. In Read Magic, they have a spell, and it says this gentle spell will help you let go of any judgments or negative energy that others may have been placing on your shoulders. Yeah, people don't mean to put their shit on you. You know, I've done it. You've done it. We've all been the victim. We've all been the villain. So it says you will need a small reed wicker basket. Ah! I saw it. Ah! Thank you, Spirit. Sorry, Hedgewitches. Oh my gosh, no disrespect. Oh shit. See, look at that. I gotta be mindful. Woo! Sorry, friends. Okay. Let's start over. You'll need a small reed wicker basket, a bell, a white candle, a piece of paper, and an envelope. Light the white candle and write down all the things that you are ready to let go of, things that no longer serve you. Place the paper in the envelope and seal it with the white wax from the candle. Put this into the reed basket and close the lid. Say 3 times, I let you go, I mean you no harm. The future is bright and filled with light, ringing the bell after each time. Okay, put the reed spell in the garden and let nature take over. Okay, that's if you want to, if you're called to. You know, it's not for everybody. Spells aren't for everybody. Witches aren't for everybody. If it's not your thing, you know, you'll get to what you need to get to. I feel like if you found yourself here, you either are a witch or you work with the witches, you know, or whatever you identify with. But the truth is, it's just a term for healer, magician. There's different labels, you know, sex, you know, organs that are placed upon languaging. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't matter. Warlock. It's whatever you feel, whatever works for you. Do we want to read any more of the cards? Okay, so these are your messages. I hope they help you in any way. And for those of you who are starting on a brand new quest, it may be that you don't figure it out until the fall. And then you will be spending your time over the fall and over winter. And by next spring, by a year from now, which you got to remember that it's just 365 days. And they go by so fast. Now that we've really sunk into the 5th dimensional energy, have you not noticed how fast it is? I said to my partner the other day, I'm like, it's so crazy to think that, like, my birthday is December 13th. And I'm like, I've been 50 for 4 months already. That's like crazy. I was like, a third of the year is like gone already. So, you know, almost. But you know what I mean? And it's not about that. I'm just saying like this time frame that spirit has us on, or excuse me, that the humans have us on. But if you're working with the spirit realm, like I believe that you are, you know, you have to remember that it just functions at a different, you know, you don't know. It's like you have no idea what it is you still need to do, what you need to learn, even if you are the most powerful being on this planet right now. And you're like, but I'm miserable in this situation. Don't, you know, ask spirit to help you, and wherever you are, just to make it better until you get there. Ask, you know, for help or changes or whatever you need. But in the meantime, focus on whatever it is that pinged for you when we were talking about these things, and work with, you know, reed and ash tree and willow. Look up their spiritual meanings, because they do have meaning. You would just put in like ash tree spirit meaning, willow tree spirit meaning. I mean, this tells you enchantment, this tells you patience, but this is, you know, this is from the priestess moon and their, you know, level of consciousness when they made this deck. You know, they may have actually taken words from something. Maybe they already knew, maybe they downloaded, I don't know. But the fact that you have these trees, and that you're watching this reading, and this reading is happening right at the beginning of Taurus season, leads me to believe that you guys really need to get grounded. And look at those wings. You guys are natural earth witches. You're so connected, right? Because they, like, he's got like, it looks like little wings, but not, they're like fins. So look up seahorse and look up dragon, and dog if you're called to work with them. But we also have 2 crescent moons. So if that means anything to you guys, and then we've got a full moon like above their head. But look at how all 3 of them have like arrows, which means it's time for you to really connect with your crown chakra. And in order to do that, you need to meditate, you need to get quiet, and you need to step away from the world. Okay, you guys, those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way. All of my information is in the description box below. And I'd like to give a shout out to the brand new subscribers. Thank you so much for being here and having the courage to go on this journey with us, and to the subscribers that have been with us all this time, even some of you from the beginning. I honor you as you honor me, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number 3. Oh, I was going to put your cards up, and I was like, it's too magical right now. Look at that. Wow. It's almost like I feel like I haven't even like fully looked at your cards, but all I can tell you is that I'm getting this bowing energy from the universe to you guys. Like, so there's some old medicine here. I'm not sure if it's you guys or if it's just your answers, but I mean, like, my whole body feels so grounded. Which means you guys are really, really grounded. I'm excited to see your cards. Let's see how Spirit wants to work this today. Okay, so we have happiness. Oh, yay. Oh, my goodness. So these are just, you know, kind of blanket messages from Spirit. So happiness. Look at you guys being all happy and joyful. You know what? I feel like this wants to be up front a little bit longer. It's just too cute. Let me see if I can get her to stand up. Oh, look at that. And I was going to move it, and they said, don't, because look at how the light is on her. This is how I feel like you guys are. You're just like these naturally beautiful, vivacious, you're just pure magic. I mean, we've got mushrooms. Look at, like, I mean, if we get close in this card, I got to be careful. I started the book on fire in the last pile. I get a little forgetful of where the flame is. Okay. And it's because I move things around. If I had the same setup all the time, I would never do that. Okay, but look at that. Like, I want you to look at the intricacies, and I would highly recommend taking a picture so that you have it. I'm trying not to shake because I'm leaning forward. And I'm definitely going to read this card because I feel I'm feeling this energy from Spirit, that they want me to read it. So let's bring this down. Hold on. Okay, so your card says optimism, good cheer, and laughter. This card is brought to you by the orange blossom, the Citrus sinensis. Orange blossom's happy, sweet citrus scent is regenerating and optimistic. On a metaphysical level, it can dissipate heaviness and unhealthy obsessions and help to create a heart full of light. The fragrance of orange blossom attracts the angels assigned to us on our earthly journey. Eating oranges is said to give a rush of vitality to the solar plexus chakra, the golden energy wheel at the center of your body. Also, have you guys ever just like twisted the rind of an orange and like watched the juice come out of the rind and the oil and the smell? It's just heavenly. So I recommend, you know, your homework if you can eat them. I love citrus fruits, but sometimes they give me heartburn. So if you can eat them, I highly recommend you connect with the orange because there's a reason why I came out to speak with you. It says the symbolism of this card is the priestess of happiness is dancing in a gorgeous orange frock and stripy blue stockings. Her energy is one of whimsy and playfulness. Gold surrounds her as well as orange blossoms bursting with their delicious citrus perfume.